You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to The Lyndia Grant Show. It's Halloween, and us Christians don't believe in Halloween too much, but it is Halloween, and we'll try to have some candy for the kids. But we are going to talk today to Attorney Shalor Williams. She is an attorney, a probate lawyer that's going to be talking about the value of getting your paperwork signed for your seniors in your family who may have dementia. Now let's go to our political commentator, who is professionally known as an economist, Dr. Julianne Malvo. What you got for us, Dr. J?
Well, Lyndia, first of all, greetings and great to be with you. Great, but not so great when we think about what's going on. We are now in the fifth week of government shutdown. What that means is that a number of government programs are not operating and a number of government workers are not being paid. We're looking at about 750,000 who have been furloughed and another roughly 600,000 who are being forced to work without pay. That includes air traffic controllers that have already seen backups with air travel. It includes a number of other essential employees. Now, one of the things that we have to note is that this president, I don't curse on a Christian program, so I'll just say this president has carved out exemptions for a number of people. The military, for one example, ICE as another example. So it's interesting. When government shuts down, theoretically it shuts down, but he's saying my special programs are going to be paid. So when you think about it, remember he said he was going to hurt Democrat programs. That's his term. I don't know why they can't Democratic, but Democrat programs were going to be hurt. And we see that already. So we are looking at the last time the government shut down, it was the longest in history. Now this will be the longest in history. The last time government shut down, we lost about $11 billion. $11 billion in GDP. This one is likely to be even longer. But this is where we are. And this president, again, he is not for the American people. He's for himself. While the government has shut down, meanwhile, the East Wing of the White House, the house that enslaved people built, has been demolished. Now, I bet you those folks got paid. In fact, there's a company called Clark Constructions in Silver Spring, and they are in charge of the contract to demolish the East Wing. They will be paid by the Trust for the National Mall, which has taken money from any number of people. So he's put together a slush fund to pay those folks. How come he can't get a slush fund together to pay the air traffic controllers? Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah.
I have to travel in a couple of weeks, and I'm just really talking to the people saying, what's our plan B? Because obviously I'll go to the airport and the flight may or may not be flying.
That's right.
This is where we are right now. And there's a huge amount of economic uncertainty. Meanwhile, 1.3 million federal workers are not getting paid. Anybody who's in line for a small business loan, they're going to stay in line. Disaster recovery, that's going to be on hold. There's so many things that are on hold. And one of the most important things, Lyndia, on hold is data. We can't manage what we can't measure. So a shutdown starves the economy of information. Mm-hmm. So oftentimes people are making decisions about the information that they have. And if they don't have any information, they're making decisions in a vacuum. Not to mention the fact that we're coming up on the holiday season, Thanksgiving, the Christmas season, and Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all those things. That's the last 2 weeks of the year. And prices are likely to go up for anything that people need around those things. Food prices are up already. Inflation is roaring back. It's roaring back. It's back at the 3% level. 2% is considered manageable. 3% is not. There are lots of people who are you're going to go to the store and see that things are more expensive. And that's just that. You're going to go to the store and find that things are much more expensive. I don't expect people to cut back on their Christmas food. But I would say to people, we get them, predatory capitalists, if we cut back on our spending. Spending makes the world go round in this economy. Mm-hmm. So if you don't spend, the economy will be in trouble. But guess what? When we don't spend, we're making a statement. We ain't up for this BS. We're not up for this BS. And we already see some challenges. U.S. consumer confidence is at a 6-month low. Consumer confidence, the University of Michigan measures it, and it measures how confident people are about the next month or so in the economy, the next month, the next 6 months in the economy. And what we know now is that the index fell by a percentage point, and it's in trouble in many ways. It's in a trouble zone. The people who are feeling it the most are people who have incomes of less than $75,000 a year. Those who have incomes of more than $200,000 a year are quite happy with where they are. They have no problem at all. But the median income for African American families is below $75,000 a year. The median, many above, but many below. So what we're looking at is a crisis in confidence. We're looking at economic uncertainty, and this is all a function of this economic shutdown. And it seems to be no path forward. Republicans say they will discuss healthcare if Democrats reopen government. Democrats say we have to deal with healthcare first, and they will not vote to reopen. If 5 Democratic senators cross over, and they probably will not, but if they do, guess what? That means the government will reopen, but there will also be major challenges, especially in the healthcare area. So that's where we are with all of that, Lyndia. Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we have elections next week, Tuesday, November the 4th, in Virginia, in New Jersey, and in New York City. In Virginia, we have Abigail Spanberger, who is highly favored as a Democrat to take over the governorship. In New Jersey, similarly, a Democrat, but she has a smaller margin, may take over the governorship or continue it. The governor is a Democrat now. In New York City, this is where we get a lot of, I won't call it fun, but a lot of interesting reverberations. In New York City, what we have is Andrew Cuomo, the disgraced former governor, and Zohan Mamdani, the Democratic Socialist, 34 years old, quite impressive as far as I'm concerned. He is leading in the polls, but a lot of people, including this president, including many others, the current mayor, Eric Adams, they don't want him in there because they say he's a Democratic Socialist. Well, what is a Democratic Socialist, really? There's a Democratic Socialists of America. It's an organization. It is not an official political party. Most so-called Democratic Socialists are Democrats. What's special about them? Socialism talks about pooling resources. And you can hear this young man when he talks about free public transportation, talks about free groceries. Some of these things are great ideas, but they're not practical. And people run on ideas, like that man who lives in a house that enslaved people built. They run on ideas, and then pardon me?
So that's how he got elected.
Exactly. And then they get in and they do whatever they're going to do.
Exactly.
So Mamdani cannot redirect the transportation system in New York City without the approval of the governor. Now, maybe the governor will approve it, but let's just be clear. This label Democratic Socialist is a way to basically marginalize him. Still, he's leading in the polls, and let's hope he continues to lead in the polls. Meanwhile, these elections that are coming up next week remind us how important voting is. What we're seeing now, of course, is this redistricting.
1 minute.
Redistricting debacle, Texas. Most recently, North Carolina is attempting to create an extra district for Republicans to cut Democrats out. So that becomes a problem as well. Now, in my last minute, let me talk about what they are trying to do is to take back some of the Biden pardons. They're saying that Biden must have been out of it when he used the auto pen to sign his pardon. So they want to take him back. Well, my thing is, okay, fine, take him back. And take back George Santos and take back all those 100 people who stormed the, more than 100, 1,600 people who stormed the White House. If you want to take something back, let's take that back. So they're talking a lot of crap, but that's what this administration does. While they're talking crap, Democrats need to get it together. And, just need to get it together. I think that we are doing better. I am a Democrat. I think that we are doing better, but I think that the Democratic Party has dropped the ball and we need to pick it back up.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Julian. That was good. You covered a lot of economic information for us today. We'll talk to you next week. We'll go to our commercial break and we'll be back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated Montgomery bus. In lectures on brotherhood, Ms. Parks often said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired. But that wasn't true. I was not tired physically. I was not old. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." Driven out of Montgomery by harassment and death threats, Detroit, Michigan became her new home. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Raised in the AME church, she once said, "I remember finding such comfort and peace while reading the Bible."
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
This is Frank Smith with the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it. Be inspired.
And we are back. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show, Radio 1, Spirit 1340, WYCB, Washington, D.C. I am here with a guest that's been on quite a few times, Attorney Shalora Williams. She usually comes on several times a year, especially close to the holidays. It's either near Thanksgiving or Christmas, but we got her here. She is an attorney that specializes in probate law, and she likes to give us advice on things that are really not working out well for people so that you can get some free advice, and then you can come and see her if you let them know that you've been listening to this show and you call my name. She always tell people they're going to get a discount. So Attorney Shalora Williams graduated from Georgetown School of Law. She worked at the city council as a chief of staff. She's been a principal. She's an all-around woman. But she resides in Washington, D.C., and she practices in Atlanta, Maryland. But let me just take you now to Attorney Shalora Williams. We're going to be talking about today how to care for senior citizens in your family who could be approaching dementia. Shalor Williams, talk to us.
Hi, Lyndia. How you doing? I appreciate you allowing me to come on your show and talk to your listeners. And you're right. Today, I just want to emphasize on what is called a healthcare power of attorney or a living will. These terms are used in back and forth. And the other one is advanced healthcare directive. All those terms mean the same thing. You're going to identify somebody, either a friend or a family member, somebody you trust, to talk to your doctors, to deal with your medicine, and to deal with your future as it comes to whether you are transitioning periods or whether you have to leave your home to go to a long-term facility. These issues are so important. And at times, you don't know what's happening and you end up not trusting people. But Lyndia, if we do it early, if we look at this early, look and see what happens. Everybody doesn't get dementia. Let's understand that. But sometimes when you get dementia, you do not know that you have it. You only know that you're not thinking the same as you used to think. You're not remembering the same as you used to remember. And I don't know whether these medicines that they advertise on television or commercials, whether that helps or doesn't help. What I do know is at some point, you're going to need help with your doctors, help with the hospital, help with long-term care facilities. The best time to understand that and to do something about it is now. Don't wait till later. And now you might want to ask me, why can't I wait till later? Well, at some point, when the doctor has identified that you are fighting dementia, you can't sign a document because you have to know what you're signing. You have to know that this document says, Shalor can talk to my doctors, and if she's not here, I want my daughter to talk to my doctors, and I want those two to understand the medicine because I don't understand the medicine. When you are walking down the street, I had a case like this, just walking down the street, and all of a sudden you faint, you fall. You may or may not hit your head on the concrete, but you're on your way to the hospital unexpectedly. And the hospital keeps you there for 2 weeks, trying to figure out why you fainted. If you will faint and fall again, did you hit your head? Is there any blood on your brain? And giving you medicine after medicine after medicine, making you sometimes drowsy. So now, who's talking to your doctors then, Lyndia? Who?
Right. And that was an
saying
accident. So that's why you're saying it start early.
You have to start early. I will share a personal thing. My cousin who recently died, when she got to the hospital, she was not well. She was not well. And each time the hospital medically tried to help her, it messed up something else. Not purposely now, okay? Because you already in the hospital, but so they put you in a coma, trying to figure out why you're bleeding internally or why you're not breathing or why we have to put oxygen over your face in order for you to have a certain level of oxygen in your blood. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But when you're in a coma, induced by the hospital, who's talking to the doctors? Who's going to tell the doctor when to keep the medical system on you so you can breathe or when to take it off? Not only that, your healthcare directive does two things. Not only talks about the doctor and the medicine and the hospital, it talks about whether or not you want the hospital and the doctors to keep you alive regardless of what's happening. or to let you die peacefully without pain. That's what that document will do.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever you choose to be your power of attorney in that case, that relieves the person because they have a written document saying what you want to have happen. Whether you want them to give you life supporting intravenous medicine to keep you alive, whether you want the hospital to put a tube in your side to feed you because you can't eat through your mouth. Those are terrible things that have to be decided upon to keep you alive or to let you go. And I'm telling you, it is better. This is better than having the will first. People want to talk about wills. Okay, let's talk about wills. But let's also talk about what to do if you can't help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing. If you can't help yourself, what do? Now, you have.
But I just want to jump in and say when my mother was really sick, my father had a family meeting with all of us adult children to ask us, because they had talked about it, the two of them, they didn't have it in writing.
Mm-hmm.
They had talked about letting them go without having to go through so many tubes down their throat and all this stuff.
Right.
And he talked to us about it and made sure we were in agreement with it, and so that we would understand, and we did. We said okay.
And that's remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
Because what normally happens, one daughter or one child wants to keep the mother alive regardless, and one child says, wait a minute, this is going to cost so much more money, and she won't have the quality of life that she's used to or that he's used to. Sometimes we feel guilty, but if we have a healthcare directive, we don't feel guilty. We have something that says, this is what I want, this is how I want it. And believe me, a healthcare directive has another section to say, make this document effective the minute I can't make my own decision, or make this document effective right now.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do a healthcare directive as soon as possible. I mean, even if you're 40 or 50, or don't wait until you get to be 70 or 80 or 90, because it's questionable then.
Mm-hmm.
It's questionable whether or not you know what you're doing. Now, good thing though, healthcare directive has to be notarized, at least in Maryland in the District of Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that notary will say, when this person signed the healthcare directive, they knew exactly what they were doing. This person was not coerced in signing this directive. When you're a mother or a father or a wife or a husband, you know who you can trust to carry out what you want to be carried out medically.
Mm-hmm.
You
And then,
know who you
there's
can.
an exam that doctors can give you, cognitive, because
Right.
I just took one, and the lady, it was some dots. I had to put the order.
Uh-huh.
And she said, I said, how did I do? She said, better than anybody I ever seen. You got up to 9. And so you had to start with 1 and 2 and 3, and you had to go back after the numbers go off and say where they were. And I was able to do it all the way up to 9. And so that's another thing people could do, is prove that you are able to think and able to know what you're doing. I guess that's called cognitive.
Right. And they have different ways to do that. For instance, a nurse or your doctor may say, may give you an example, say, Mary had a little lamb. His name was not Snow White, name was Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll go talk about something else. But they will come back and say, what was Mary's little lamb's name?
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember.
And
they let just 5 minutes go by. And in 5 minutes, you may not be able to recall the name of Mary's little lamb.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to take Take the test. And they have brain teasers on your phone,
Yes.
brain teasers on the stores.
Mm-hmm.
Try those things. Try something new to keep that brain going.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the only thing that'll put you in the hospital. You could be in your car in an accident. You could be riding a bicycle, walking down the stairs and slip. There's any number of reasons why you would be in the hospital or under doctor's care.
Shiloh, our time is about up. Tell them how
Oh,
to
I'm so
contact
sorry.
you. I know that our 12 minutes is gone just about. Tell them how to contact you.
Oh, yes. You could contact me anytime at the law office of Shalor and Kerry Williams, LLC, 301-341-5577. I'm located at 1450 Mercantile Lane, Largo, Maryland, 20774. Call me, mention Lyndia's name, and of course, you get that great discount because Lyndia is working very hard for her viewers
Yes.
and listeners.
Yes, but this was good, Shiloh. This was excellent information. I wish we had the whole 30 minutes because it sounds like you could have just given us a seminar on this thing. Good. It was outstanding. Thank you for being my guest today.
I appreciate you having me, and I'll come again anytime.
All right. That concludes our show for this week. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. Good day.
Washington and former religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
And that day came. I wonder if there are any of us who have any real idea about how despairing many are today. Do you have any concept at all of how hopeless life appears to be for many young people in our day? On every side, there are troubles, and they don't know where to turn. They find no sense of meaning to life. There are not merely passing fancies. They are conditions under which some live all the time without a ray of hope. Invite your friends to worship service. That'll help them. I feel strongly that we need to lift up our voices on these matters because God will be the light that will shine in those dark places.
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
Thank you for listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.